Hi guys, and welcome to Paws Gaming. This is Phoenix here, and today we are going to be recording episode 8 of the Breeding Masterclass. So what we have in store for tonight's episode is we are going to take the babies that we bred in the last episode where we pulled and got the stat mutation out. We're going to pull those and we are going to use them to create our new breeder male. So let's grab all of those up, and there's actually going to be a duplicate in here. So I'm going to take just a real quick minute to find that duplicate and add it over here to our discard pile. And then I will be right back so that we can get this going. Alright, we found our duplicate. So there it is over here and the stuff that we need to get rid of later. So these are going to be our 6 breeders that we need to use to make our next breeding male. So what we're going to do is, you remember that little station that we made outside for if we needed to do some gender swaps or some special pulses or whatever, and we didn't want our breeding, our main breeding setup there to be affected by those pulses. We're going to come out here to this, and you'll see I added a couple of things. And that's my fault for not explaining that it wouldn't hurt to have those there. You're not going to need them every time, but if you get multiples like this, where you're having to try to consolidate them down, it's just a lot faster if you go ahead and you have the stuff that you need to put a second best egg and a second nanny down, and of course an additional terminal. And you'll see what I mean as we get this done. So we're going to throw these out and we're going to let them all grow up, and then once that's done we're going to pair them off. And don't worry, I'll speed this bit up from this point forward until they're all out and grown up, since you know how that works. Alright, and here we go. We're going to ball all of them up. Give our nanny back unused meat. And we're going to throw these out in pairs. Alright, so there's our pairs. I'll let this guy get a nice color mutation that will be nice to have in the line. Look at that red. Alright. Each one of these is a male-female set. So what we're going to do is, we don't need to put any mutations on them. They've already got mutations. We just want to consolidate their stats down, where one's got oxygen and one's got health and one's got... And we want one dino that has all of those mutations on it. So we're going to breed them in pairs. Now, you have a couple of options. You can throw them out just 2 at a time and use the terminal to toggle their mating on and off to get the babies. You can turn them on and off manually, so we'll do that with the first set. Alright, and the egg's there and it's been grabbed. Now, it's very important that you don't pick these guys up just yet, because we're going to need them out in order to use the best egg on them. Alright, so then your second option is to use your S Plus tool here. Hold R down to get the radial menu up. Go to this Dino option. And then if you right click, you can right click through the settings. You see now it's on Spay, Chibify, Claim, Mating. That's the one that we want. So we can use that and we can actually just shoot the dinos. So we'll do that for this set. There you go. And now those two are having a baby. And they're done. So shoot them again. And it turns them off. You see the little the status messages coming up top. So we're going to do that again here. Again, there was the egg and it got grabbed. So turn them back off again because we just need one baby from each. And we're not potting them up yet so that we can convert the eggs. So we got one egg there. I bet the other eggs are upstairs, so let me run up and get them and we'll be right back. Alright, so this one is gonna have, looks like oxygen and weight. No, oxygen was already 92. So weight and movement. This one is gonna have health and melee. And this one is gonna have oxygen and stam. That one's already a best egg. That one we need to make that way. That one we need to make that way. Alright. And when you're getting ready to toss these out, it never hurts to just go ahead and re-click on them and look and make sure that it says right here the egg is already a best egg before you toss them out. Another pro tip, I guess you could say, is just go ahead and toss them out from the terminal, and then you don't have to worry about if it's a particular type of dino from a dino mod whose eggs don't give you a warning before you eat them, because not all eggs do. And that's heartbreaking sometimes when you pull it over into your inventory and you accidentally click the wrong button and wind up eating it instead of tossing it out. A lot of eggs do give you a warning that says, are you sure you want to consume this? But not all eggs do. So just be on the safe side, and instead of ever putting it into your inventory, if it's one you care about keeping, just toss it out straight from the terminal. You just right click, it'll bring you this menu and you hit drop. There is no consume option inside the terminal, so even if you click too soon, it just won't do anything. So we're going to drop it out. Alright, and that's our babies. We got 3 babies there, so we are now done with these guys. So for right now, so that we don't get them mixed up, we're going to stick them all, oops, in there. We're going to take these 3 out. And we're going to repeat the process. So we're going to fast forward through this bit again so that you don't have to sit around waiting, and I'm actually going to fast forward on to where we've got the next set of babies. Alright, I'm bringing you back early because this happens sometimes and you need to see this. These guys got a natural mutation. That's why this number is orange. We don't want that usually. In this case, this is not a bad natural mutation to go ahead and accept, because the max number that can go here is 254. 254. Now, by max number, what I mean is, if you have 255, then you cannot apply points to that stat when your dino is leveling. If you try to put points there, it does not increase the values. If you have 254, you can increase the values. If you have 256, then it resets the mutation counters. So it would be, instead of having 255 points in that stat, it would be like having 1 point in that stat for one that reads 256, and so on and so forth. So 256 starts over at 1, and all of those are bad things. So 254 is your max that you can have here. So by allowing this natural mutation to stay in, that changes this 1's place value to a 4, which means as we're increasing our stats by 10s, this one will be able to be maxed out at 254 without having to do some specialty breeding with reduced number of mutators at the end. So in that case, it's one that you might want to at least consider keeping. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to keep it for this breed. I would also keep one that rolled my melee off of a 7, because that's going to be a pain in the rear end. And my movement, I would take a 2-point mutation in it. So what this value was 92. A natural mutation gives you 2 points. If it's a mutation from one side, and it can give you 4 points if it's a mutation from both sides. So that's that. But that's why I wanted to bring you back before I changed all this, so that you would know about that. Since we encountered it now, we're going to cover it now. Alright, so let's make that one the best egg, since you're here already. And we're going to do the normal process. Verify and drop. Verify and drop. No, terminal. Those are the 2 that we want. These ones are all done. Alright, and again, I will go ahead and fast forward till we get down to the last one. We are going to have to gender swap one of these, like we did in the previous video. So if you missed that out, I'll link a card here, and I'll see you in just a minute. Alright, we've put away the ones that we use for breeding to consolidate down in here, and I know that we've been putting retired breeders over there, but I'm not considering these an actual retired breeders. The one that is the consolidation of those guys' stats, forgive my dogs in the background, is going to be the retired breeder at some point. So you see here that our existing breeder male is a level 588. Our new breeder male is going to be a level 650. Now, where the dino levels come from is actually the addition of all of their stat points. So if you take the 94 points in health plus the 90 in stam, etc., 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 it equals out to 650. So that's why their overall level increases as their mutations come in, and as their stat points increase, because that's where that number comes from. So you can see here that we have increased every stat by 10 points with the exception of food, because we didn't get a roll in that one. I did go ahead off screen and scoot the ones over a bit that were outside of his breeding range, so hopefully that will work out better. We're going to go ahead and pick up this male, and we're going to put this guy out in his place, and we are ready to go again. And that is the entire process, guys. From this point forward, it's just rinsing and repeating the steps shown in this video until you get your stat points up to where you want them. So I'm not going to do this over and over and over again on camera. I am going to do a bunch of it off camera, get their stats buffed way up, close to the final marks that we want them at, and I'll bring you back for the last round where we're trying to get those stats leveled out as close to that 254 as we possibly can. And then we'll look at some additional things and some deviations to throw on to the end of the series. If you have a suggestion for one of those, please go ahead and leave them in the comments. I can always, even if I've stopped working on the series for the time being, I can always go back and add something to it later. If you're seeing this down the road, this is not something that I'm going to go very far away from, so don't worry about how long it's been since the video posted. Just go ahead and leave it in the comments, and if it's not a video that I have somewhere else, then I'll look at trying to get it added in for you. I'll message you if I have any questions about what it is exactly you're after, and we'll see what we can do. Other than that, that's all I've got for this go, guys. I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification icon to get notified of when we upload next, and as always, please do like the video if it has been helpful to you at all. If you do want to see some of the between now and the final breeding, then please post it in the comments so that I can make sure I get some of that on film. I can always grab up a different breed line if you want to see some of the middle parts too. And I'll catch you next time. Later, guys.